my thing's off here. Oh, we gotta shut that off.
Can't you use your headphones?
No, unplug them. All right, so we're on air, and you can see me, and you can hear me, correct, Debbie? We're having a little difficulty this morning, but we'll get this done, all right? All right, so we've gone down, and we've made 3 rotations from the high. I've been putting that out on Twitter. Right now, it looks like we're getting a little rally. Here's something I want to point out, because I watch this all the time. This was the cash market, and S&Ps, this is a 1-minute S&P market, futures, and okay, and this was the cash market, and the cash market was kind of sitting, let me expand a little bit, as we were making new lows, the market was sitting there, and I kept telling Anthony, I go, this doesn't look right, this doesn't look right, I think we're going to get a rally and bounce off these lows, which we did. And we've gone 3 rotations now from the bottom. So I think there's going to be a retracement. We still have an up bias. As you can see in this chart here, this is our CCI. It crossed the center line, okay, crossing the center line, and so we're going to be looking for this market to still retrace. We are actually back inside of the low of the first 5-minute range right now. We're back inside of the first 5-minute range. All right, on a profile point of view, this has been the profile. Okay, this looks like we may revisit it later on today, but we have all these single prints up here, a lot of single prints. So right now, I think we're just, we're going to get in a consolidation mode, okay? And as usual, right, yesterday was such a bad day trading, they decided to get a lot of action to the overnight. Hold on, I'm going to open up, I have problems here, so I need to open up, I'm going to open up the book map as we're speaking. But this is telling me right now, since we crossed the center line, even though I like the short side, I'm not going to get in front of it. I can't get in front of it right now because the market is actually retracing at this point. Okay, we've got to see if it can get up in here. All right, here's our short-term indicators right in here. If you can see, they've kind of, the short-term has gotten green and is turning upwards. So that's where we're at right now. I have, as you can see down here, once again, I've in the silver area here, or this silver area, this was my breakout area, and the breakout area was like, let me see what I have it down here as, 55 and a quarter. 55 and a quarter. I thought if they got above there, then we have to be concerned about the upside. So that's what we're looking at right there. All right. Hopefully my charts will get back up. We've got what's going on with the NASDAQ and the TF. We got all the indexes in a sell. The NASDAQ gave us a little flip-flop today. I'm sorry, the Dow did. And yesterday the Dow was the strongest out of all the 3 or 4 indicators. So everything's in a sell, but right now they're all in a consolidation, moving up trend. So that's what we got going on right now. Let's see what happens if now we got up to here and we failed. Okay, what's the low now? Let me take a look at the low. 51 and a quarter. So if I look at the rotations from the bottom, 2051.25 plus 3.75 equals 2055, which are through. plus 3.75 equals 2058.75, which is, I believe, I think, let me see what the high is right here. This high is 2058.75. Imagine that. All right. So we've had 2 rotations from the low, but we also have had 3 rotations from the top. So, now I think the market's going to start getting into a consolidation period. Let me take a look at if I can get this up. Sorry. File. That's what happens when you're forced to use computers. But everybody could hear me okay? Everything's good?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Remember, put your questions in, and we will try to address them. I'm opening Bookmap. Jim told me he's gotten a great response from you guys, so let's see what the order book looks like. All right. Okay, so I don't want to leave it that big, but let me take a look at what settings I got it on. So if I just go like this, I can just see the big orders. Right now, it looks like you got offers at 59. Okay, so I like to leave it around 25%. Gives me an idea where everybody's at, and then okay. So there's Bookmap. Looks like you got about 1,200, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, about 5,000 between 2059 and 2060. I don't trust these because when I see them starting out bright white, and then the shades start, that means people are fooling around with their order entry up here. So it's not something I trust. Now here, you see this? And I see this starting to go here, and they're trying to. Then I think they're trying to goose the market. 59 disappeared. Look, 59, 60 disappeared. Okay, so this is one of the things that I like to look at. All right, we're getting back inside. Let's see what happens here. Now, here's an important thing with this CCI. It's going gray. It's going gray. So that means that the trend is turning neutral, but neutral to still to the down bias. It doesn't go red to green. It goes red, gray to green. Okay. So I just think that the market has been in a sell-off since the opening. It'd be pretty rare that we would get 2 trend days back to back. Meaning, yesterday was a terrible day for trading. I mean, they did 65 million in the volume. But so today, I think it's going to be more of a consolidation day. All right. I mean, move consolidation down the low. So here's where we are in bracket E. Okay. And I think they're going to move up in this area. Okay. Remember now, there are some single prints way up here that was left there from overnight. Now I don't, never rule anything out, but I'm just pretty sure that the market's in a consolidation for right now. I'd be looking. Let me put this over here. There's really no big orders up on the top here. We got the 5-minute pivot up at 63. Okay, and value is way up here. I mean, way up here. So let's see what happens if we can get back inside the back inside here, which is take care of the orders, those top orders.
Got it.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're in a wait and see mode at this point. If you don't have a position on, right, you'd be looking to, here's where it kind of fell out of bed from this morning. So we want to take a look at it from that point of view. And so is there questions out there? Let me know what's going on. Let me see what's going on with this here. Okay. Now, remember we talk about that pattern that you get, from bottoms. Okay, let's straighten this out here. All right, get one more click. All right, I'll kind of. All right, these are the kind of things you look for, right? One, right? We couldn't take out the low. 1, 2, 3, little bound vic. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what this brings us. Now we're back inside of the. Now remember, these purple lines represent the low of the first 5-minute bar and the high of the first 5-minute bar. This is the first 5 minutes. I'll go to here. This is actually there. We opened, the opening print today was 2061.75. So we got a down bias, meaning that we have a 70% chance that we will close lower than where we open it from. That doesn't mean that we can close 3,000 point lower. It just says that we'll close lower. So the way I like to use that bias is when it gets above the opening print, we're looking for a place to sell it. We're looking for a place to sell it. Yesterday, I think that we closed 3 points or 2 points above it. So, but yesterday was another, not a very good trade based on what was going on. I got any questions yet, Ian?
Yeah. So he said you mentioned the rotation was 3.75 points. However, the blog indicates 3.25. Which one?
Blog. I'm sorry then. Then the blog is correct and I am wrong. So that's going to put me off by like 75 points. Is that the
3.25?
Yeah. Okay. So 3.25, but so that put me off by 150 points from the high.
13 ticks.
13 ticks. So we're at 13 ticks exactly.
Five periods all inside 65 cents. What the heck? 10 cents.
Yeah. So now we're starting to get to the top here, flatten it out. We're going to see, usually when first line is indicate we're starting to get overbought. The second line is overbought. Here's our bias. Our long-term intermediate income is still down. The short-term is turned to like a neutral to gray. All right. The Russell's kind of is actually sort of like the S&P back to where it opened from, the opening range.
Got a couple tweets out here and a couple of people want you to go through crude.
Okay. All right. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull up some charts. Hold on. All right, sorry everybody. I've been having malfunctions around here all day. I got the S&P rallying a little bit here. Let me bring in a. Let's start with the crude profile. All right. All right. So crude, it's got a day high of 49.75. We got a low of 49.05. We have an up bias in crude. All right. So I'm gonna try to put a range on here that I think will make some more sense with crude. All right. $49. What's wrong?
Casino girl wants to know what Fugazi means.
Fugazi means
indicator you can put up.
No, Fugazi. A Fugazi is a fake. It's all an illusion. That's what Fugazi means. All right. All right. So I'm going to bring my 1 minute chart in crude right now, and and there's some things. Remind me, Anthony, to show them what I talked about in the S&Ps today. Okay. All right. So we are trading above the opening range for crude. I'm going to put this. I think this is going to be the tail of the tape for crude now from this point on. All right. I'm going to add this drawing. All right, here we go. That's what I'm looking at for crude today. All right. So I think that above here, it's a rally. I think you're gonna get consolidation. If we get down below here, we're gonna have to sell it. So, but I'm not gonna do that unless I have some confirmation with my CCI right here. Okay. So let's look at what's going on here. Okay. So now remember, now we have an up bias in crude. Okay. What does it try to do now? A couple times. All right. Here's the 5 minute pivot. We bounced up to it and failed. It's also the bottom of value right here at 49.76. All right. So what I'm showing you is everything we do works in all these markets. It's just you got to use the methodology, right? And then people become comfortable with which markets they like to trade, right? So for crude right now, we got a crossover, meaning that we've gone from red to gray, okay? We crossed over here, that made it gray. Our next move is going to be, if these cross and that start ascending, then I think crude will get back inside value. We take out the 5 minute pivot. Bull bear zone at 50 and 20 cents here, 50 and 20 cents. So the 5 minute, we're back actually above the opening range. So how come we only have one purple line there? Is it way higher? I'm not sure. I gotta look. Oh, it's the wrong chart. All right. Anyway, so we got to get it above 49.76, and we got to take out the 5 minute pivot. That would put us back inside value. We get back inside value, and then we'll have. So here's my 1 minute chart for crude, right there. All right. Now I want to show you guys something from yesterday. All right. And this is what was frustrating yesterday too. Okay. So I'm taking a look. Here's the profile from yesterday. Here's yesterday's day right here. Okay. Now you see where right here this purple is 20.75 1/4. The mode was at 25.75 1/4 all day yesterday, right? And we had all this slow grinding Fugazi Casino Girl, Fugazi rally. This was a Fugazi. So they had to go here, and they were filling in. Where, did they have enough oomph to get here to these single prints? No, they just filled these in, right? But important thing about this is they're building time. They spent all this time up here, but they didn't put any volume up here. So the rally was a Fugazi, and they spent more time here. And here is the volume. So when you have, the most volume traded here. So this is telling me time above volume means the market's going down, because the attractor is volume right here. A volume right there. Okay? So that's something that should have been a key point. Now, let's look at the action this morning. Because I was telling you, that we had HVNs, which are high volume nodes. Take a look at all this right here. Look how all the volume that's put in there. Okay? Those become attractors. Just because they're an attractor doesn't mean they're going to stop there. Here's another attractor right here. 59, 60 area. Okay? Doesn't mean we're going to stop there. It looks like the profile is starting to fill in on both ends. On both ends. Okay? So I wanted to point that out today. All right? Here's Bookmap again. These guys look like they're pretty solid here at 58. This looks like pretty solid. This one especially. 58 and a quarter. So, like I said, this is an ongoing process. You're monitoring things. The one that kind of gave the bottom away to me today was the cash market. We were going lower on the 1 minute chart. Let me see if I can open both, put them side by side. All right. We were going lower. Let me see if I can get this. And I said to Anthony a couple times, I go, look at this. The cash is just sitting there, and we're making new lows. So I got to bring this back over here. So if you look at this time period right here, right in here, when we're making new lows, right in here. So that's between let's call it 9 o'clock. Let's go over here 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock over here. They're not making new lows. You see this? They're just sitting here. The cash is not making new lows, but yeah, we're making new lows here. So that was an indicator to me that I think they were putting a bottom in down there. So, that's something. And this is the cash AD SPDC. So it's a cash S&P market. All right.
Good time for a question.
I got time.
What factors indicate a reversal, in your opinion?
A reversal of
the chart.
Well, to me today, you got to remember I got an up bias, so I'm not, or down bias. What would be a reversal? Short term, well. So I look at I look at a couple things. All right. I mean, for me, really, if you want me to get out of my mindset, take a look at this chart. Okay. Take a look at where it started from. Right. We got some acceleration. So for me, right now, this market would have to take out this, and it just happens to be the 5 minute pivot, but it would have to take out these highs right here. Okay. Here's another thing I like to look at. Let me open this up and I'll show you. When you're looking at a chart, okay, you kind of want to look at, and these are 5 minute bars, okay? So you go here and you look, all right, see this seems to be the biggest bar. This bar here, this red bar, okay? And then you see this one, that one there, all right? So really, if you want, you can go here I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a, all right, then I'm going to make this yellow. All right, and I'm going to take this chart here, the bottom of it. I'm going to put another price in there, and I'll make that yellow. All right. It's hard to see. All right. But if I take a look at this chart, this long bar, all right? So we're actually trading inside of the bottom of this long bar, okay? So we're up in here. So now that would make me suspicious. Okay, we're back inside this bar, all right? But taking the top of this bar out, for me, would be a reversal of the uptrend, okay? Because this seems like this is where it all kind of started from 8:30 this morning, right? So we've been selling off since 8:30 this morning. So that would be a reversal. But right now, I gotta sit here. So now, what about on the downside, right? Probably if we took out this right here, this 55 area again, 55 quarter, we'd have to go down and take all that out, right? And then here's another long bar. You know, you can see that this 54 half to 55 quarter is a transition area. So that would be a reversal there. Does that answer the question?
Yep.
Okay.
Ready for another one?
Yeah, go ahead.
As you are a great mentor to us, who was your mentor when you were trading?
I got to tell you, Maury Kravitz is probably one of the smartest men I've ever met. I mean, he was ahead of his time. He got me into technical analysis, market psychology, but I mean, not just the markets. I mean, this guy, well, let's put it this way. You know, he was probably the world's foremost authority on gold. He was the only guy ever invited to in New York. He was invited, and there were experts invited, and he was being noted as like the largest gold trader because at the time he had all the orders and market flow and so on at the Mercantile Exchange. They didn't know they were going to ask him to talk. He got up there and talked for 45 minutes unprepared. They asked him to say a few words, and then a few questions came, and that was it. 45 minutes later, he was still up there, and he could have kept going for another 45 minutes. He taught me that gold is not a supply and demand product. So when you hear all the talking heads talking about supply and demand for gold, there is no such thing. They do about 5 million ounces a year, and it's a demand product. That's it. Jewelry doesn't divide. It's just a demand product. That's it. When people want it, it goes up. When prices go, they don't want it, it goes down. And I was telling people the other day on Top Step, when you take a look at this, and I don't get off a tangent. I'll tell you some more stuff about Maury. Taught me technical analysis. Taught me how to fill orders. Taught me about risk. Taught me about money management. I mean, there wasn't anything that he didn't know, right? And I would go in, and when I was having bad days or bad weeks or bad month, he would, you know, he was the guy. You know the book Tuesdays with Maury's? Well, I had that every day. You know, I could go right down to the hall because our offices were together and sit and just talk to him. And you know, my father died when I was young, and he was my sounding board, man. He was awesome. He was a good guy. I miss him. He passed away a couple years ago. Anyway, back to that. And you know, everybody's got to get somebody like that in their life. It's not just about trading, but about life. You need somebody. You need a sounding board, right? You know, I remember one time we were at breakfast, him and I, and you know, I think the check was like $9, you know, and all I had was a 20s in my pocket. So I left a $20 bill, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Come on, a girl works hard. We come here every day." He goes, "Hey, knucklehead, remember the value of $1. Remember the value. I really fully never grasped that concept because I was a spender my whole life. But I got to tell you, he used to tell me you got to keep yourself grounded. And in this industry, I always telling you guys last time, I used to manage my life. I used to look at my secretary, my assistant Joni, and say, "What are the bills for the month?" She go 50 grand. I go, "Okay, I'll be back." Go down to the ATM machine and come back. That's how we used to. That's what it like in the old days. So, you know, you gotta. It was a different world. Different world. The other thing Maury Kravitz was known for, he led 3 expeditions to Mongolia looking for Genghis Khan's tomb. Okay, and we'll talk about the market some more, and then at the end of the day, I will tell you the folklore or the lore behind Genghis Khan. So let's take a look here. Now we kind of topped out up here. We didn't make it. You know, we failed up in this area, right? Actually failed probably at 2 rotations, right? A little just shy of the 2 rotations, and now, all right, I'm looking to see if this is going to cross the center line. Cross the center line, okay? So when you ask me how I use Bookmap, I get this thing that I go, it looks like it's heading down. Look at this, 56, 55. These guys look like they're there to stay. Those guys are attractors to me. But, see, look at this. They're disappearing a little bit. Still 900 on the bid there. All right. Here, 1,000, 1,000. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You can't use this like, oh my God, it's an attractor, and then sell it right here. Oh, I'm going to sell one. I'm going to sell them here at 57 and cover it down to 56 or 55 half. All right, because these little, this reminds me of Pac-Man for you people who's ever, these little Pac-Man guys could rally it back up to 60, and you'll be sitting there going, trying to make a point and a half and end up losing 3 points. So you got to look. If you're in a trade, you kind of look at those things as. All right, so we're still coming down here. So remember you talked about trend reversal. We never even came close. We didn't even come close to these highs right here, 61 and a quarter. All right, let's see if it crosses the center line. And then once again, we're going to talk about if we get back in my area over here that we're looking at. I think that if the market goes below 54.5, we'll probably look to take the lows up. 54.5. All right, we're starting to cross here. Any more questions?
Let's see here. Can you explain a little bit more about the CCI indicator, how you use the CCI?
Well, it's hard because you guys are going to go look for the CCI, and you can go get one, but ours is different. We've done our own tooling to it. I wish I could get Pat on the line. He could help you, but it's a combination of CCI and some RSI. No, it's CCI, and it has a bunch of different moving averages and a bunch of different time frames, things that we've used and incorporated with the standard CCI. So when I'm looking at this, right, so the pink letter, so the green is overbought, the red is oversold, this red up here, this is another one of our indicators. This is our bias, okay, that's the longer term trend, and then right here is the shorter term trend, right? So if the market was going to keep continuing down, we would want to see confirmation by this green line crossing the pink line. Okay, so let's take a look back here. Let me go back here, and let's go to, let me see here. All right, right here, okay. Here we got a cross, okay. Here's the corresponding, right? 55, that was, that's 58, but the low of that, as it was crossing here, as we're starting, okay. So we got a cross that failed, came back down, we made the lows here, oversold. Now we're starting to get up here. All right, and remember, this is where we, let's see, what's the low of that bar? Okay, the low of that bar is 57.5. We get the cross and keeps going up. We go from 57.5 up to 62, 63. So we get confirmation, and we're looking for momentum to the upside, right? So we got a little momentum, and then we stalled up there. So that's what I look for. So if I'm in a negative mode where I got a down bias and I'm thinking that I want to be short, I'm not going to sell it if I see this. I want to sell it when I see this above the line. Actually, you see this above the 2 lines. All right, then I'm looking to sell it. But you want to, kind of use that. So now we're getting this confirmation. We'll be crossing. Okay. So that's how I use the CCI.
Abbott is now watching.
I know.
Messaged us if we need anything. He's watching.
He's watching. If you want to ask a question,
please ask in the YouTube.
Huh?
Tell them to ask questions in the YouTube.
Please. Yeah, ask questions of what makes up the CCI, but we're not going to give you the sauce. I mean, we can't give you the sauce. Not for free. I mean, a bottle of scotch or something. All right, so we're starting to get across here.
During the morning call, you talked about volatility. Can you please elaborate on that?
Well, I look for, volatility means that it's the difference between having a 3,000 point range and a 1,000 point range, right? And for us is, if you're doing this for a day trading, you want volatility, okay? So we're starting to get across here. Kind of look here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 down bars now. 6 down bars. Remember what I talked about, 43.5, right? I'm looking for the market, to take out the lows. Here we got our 1 minute time frame. We're starting to get back inside of here, which is that 55 quarter area. All right. Let's see. I thought that the bottom didn't look finished this morning. Okay. We got 46.5. It would be 1.5 times the IB range. So this is what we're looking at for right now. Now, if we get this, you're going to see the CCI. If we start going down and going across this here we are below 4.5. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can take out this 4.5 area. We got high volume nodes over here. So if people don't understand when I talk about high volume nodes, look at here. See all the volume right here? Okay. Also, bracket F opened up, and it's been straight down for the first almost 15 minutes. This will be an indicator, all right? If it can't take out this 4.5, then this will end up turning around, going back up here. All right.
Ready for one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
So are you seeing anything currently on the market profile with regards to that 2061 quarter level? Any resistance maybe?
2061 quarter?
Yep.
That's where we opened up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I just said it. Look, here. I mean, let's go up to 61 quarter. All right. All right. It's for me, I look at 61 quarter. I'll go right here. That really doesn't say anything. Well, right here, you got only 2 letters at BE. We end up topping out there. But go to your chart. Go to this chart right here, and look at where we started from. All right, we've taken out that 4.5 area. I mean, the next thing is 2.25. We got to take out CD here. CD. All right. So yeah, when I would talk about that, I mean, this is where we started on 6, basically right in here. We couldn't get back above that. So yeah, there's resistance there.
Thank Pat for answering some questions on Twitter.
Okay. Is he answering?
On YouTube, he's answering some questions. So.
Good. All right, here. Book map 52. Got resting there. All right.
Richie Riley wants to know how you get your hair to look so good.
Tell Richie Riley he's jealous because I'm 15 years older than him and I look 20 years younger. Unbelievable. 51 and a quarter. I use gel. Anthony gives me his gel. And I do not dye it. This is my color. Dirty gray. All right. 2 quarters next. Got to take out 2 quarters to keep going. See the CCI here? We got confirmation, turning back to red. Okay. Let's see if we keep moving. Let's keep moving. We're moving, we're moving, we're moving. Now we got the cash moving with us on the downside. They asking Pat questions. Yep. He's the technical guy. He knows it all. He made this idiot proof for me. Any other questions?
Yeah.
God, it's almost the hour's almost up already.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes. Lewis, are you going to share a story with us today?
Yes, I have a great story.
They want to see your face when you share it.
Okay. Who wants to see my face? I hope it's a girl. All right. Here we go. I'm going to share a story with you.
Are you live?
Julie, yes, we're live. You want to come and talk to the audience? Tell them what you taught me about trading?
No, it's just that.
My number one motivation is my wife, because no matter how much I made, she was always able to spend. All right, let me pull up the Google stop sharing. I hope this is going to work, Dad. All right, there we go. You can now see me, I take it. All right. So, the value of staying with your plan and of being a disciplined trader, right? So it's funny because when I was on the floor, there were certain classes that that the Merc used to offer people, right? And you always knew a new trader by the fact that they had a new member badge on. So they have a badge. By the way, here's my badge, LBJ. Can you see that? There. Okay, and then when you'd see this badge, it'd have a new member on it. So that meant that, if I saw a guy with a new badge, I'm going to go after him and, basically intimidate him and steal his money from him. No, I did not. Actually, right in the beginning, these new traders, I would see 3 or 4 new guys with new member badges, and they would be in the pit. And when I was filling orders, or even when I was trading, all of a sudden I would see like 3 guys. And they'd be in the pit, and they'd be like this, right in my face. And I'd be like, finally I started looking at these guys and go, get out of my face. Get out of here. What are you doing here? So I thought that maybe the Merc put those guys in there. They were watching me to see something happen. I don't know. Anyway, the market's breaking here, guys. I told you at 40.5, right? We're looking for new lows. Hold on a second here. Guys and gals, remember, we're looking for 46.75 would be my next target. 46.75. All right. So back to the story. So there was a guy in the pit, and I was rooting. I was like the biggest fan of this guy. He was the first African American in the pit, and his badge was Uly, U-L-Y, and he stuck with his plan. He was always selling or buying a one line. And when I was filling orders, he was driving me crazy because he'd be going, buy one, Lewis, all day long, either buy or sell one, buy or sell one, buy or sell one. So I thought, he's doing all right. So this goes on for about 6 months. And then finally, one day I see the guys from the clearing firm that he cleared come down and they pull Yuli out of the pit. And the guy gives me an order. He goes, sell 279. I go, what is this? He goes, Yuli bought 279 one lots. So he didn't know you got to buy it and sell one lot together. So he was long 279 contracts. So that's my funny story for the day. All right. It was, that'll always stick in my mind because I thought he was being disciplined. He was buying a one lot and he was selling a one lot. He never said buy 10. He always said buy one, but he did it 279 times, I guess. So that's my funny story for the day. Also, I'll combine that with, I told you about Maury, right? So Maury was the foremost authority in the world about Genghis Khan. And Genghis Khan, there was another guy who was famous. And if you remember Chuck Connors, the guy who played the rifleman on TV? I'm dating myself, all right? He also played for the Cubs. He pitched for the Cubs, the rifleman. So he also was like, him and Maury were the side-by-side foremost authorities in the world about Genghis Khan, whose name was Temujin, his real name. So Maury's license plates read Temujin, and they read also his boat was named Temujin. And the story or the lore about Genghis Khan is that he conquered the whole known world in the 1850, 1870 area. I believe that's the right era. And he did this with his army, and he did this basically on donkeys and spears. And as he conquered the whole known world, they were taking all the artifacts that they conquered. And what he did is gave half of the retribution to the soldiers, and the other half went back to Mongolia. So when Genghis Khan died, he was entombed with all this retribution as a peace offering to the gods. And then there were 2,000 slaves who entombed him. And then after that, there was 400 soldiers who executed the slaves. And when they got back, the 450 soldiers were executed by Genghis Khan's sons. So Maury actually thought, and he believed this the day he died. And in fact, I was the executor of his will at one time, and he gave me a card and said, "This is where the location is. Don't give this to anybody. It's worth billions, billions." He went there 3 times looking for Genghis Khan's tomb. He never found it. But he was he's an awesome guy. He was an awesome mentor. I mean, he got me into technical analysis. He also talked to me about there is no one indicator, because the markets move sometimes on different things. And sometimes there's other things that are controlling it. So sometimes it's the 50-day average. Sometimes it's the 30-day average. Sometimes it's it's the rotations. So you got to kind of use all your tools that are at your disposal to make an educated guess. And this is what Pat and I have been doing for the last couple of years. And prior to this, 20 years ago, when I was on the floor, Pat was upstairs developing these tools, and they were texting them down to me down on the floor. All right, so we're still looking here. It looks like we're gonna, we're still got all these. Here's the opposite of what we had going. Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lower closes. 8 lower closes. I'm looking for. Well, ultimately, I'm looking for that 46.75. We're looking to take this low out of 51.25. Okay. It's kind of reaching our exhaustion dots here. The yellow. Oh, you can't see it. You can't see. I'm sorry. Let me throw the screen back on since we're making new lows. All right, I gotta go to Google. Let me share screen again. All right. Okay, here we are. All right. What I was saying is, okay, look at here what's going on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lower closes now. All right. You probably get a little bit of pullback here. We were trying to take out the low on the day. All right. We did. We took it out by a tick. We took it out by a tick. Right. So this is telling me I think we're going here. Or we're going to. So when we get in this area, I'm looking for 45, which would be 1.5 times the IB range. 1.5 times the IB range. Right. But we're probably going to get a little breath here. Okay. We're going to get a little breath. Okay. And then, if the pattern continues, we'll start heading down. Now, we've reached our exhaustion dots, these yellow dots, which was an invention of Pat Davitt. These are standard deviations from the VWAP. Okay. Well, actually, this is a standard deviation line, but these dots are telling us that we could be oversold. But when I see this and the market gets like here and then flattens out on the CCI, it stays on a line like this, it means to me that the constant selling is coming in. Not an abundance of selling, it's just that anytime we try to rally, they're knocking it down. They're knocking it down, right? So I would be looking for the market. Now, we've come out, and bracket F has gone basically straight down. Straight down. So we got to see what happens with bracket E, or if this is not going to, this may have one little 5-minute close higher, and I'd be looking for the pattern to keep going the other way. Pattern going the other way. All right, meaning other way to keep going down. All right. Book map, bringing it in here. People are trying to get out at 51. You got 1,200 on the bid here. You got 1,800 on the bid at 50 even. 1,800 on the bid at 50 even. So that looks like it's a target down there for me. That coupled with 46.75, 1.5 times the IB range. If I want to go back here and start looking back, all right, we're at 52.5. What do we got here at 52.5? Well, this is showing me that more volume's got to fill in here, all the way down to 47. If you see this gray area, we've got an old low at 53.25, which are through. We got an old high at 51.75. Okay, we got a mode at 48.5. Okay, I'm sorry, what happened there? And I was going to show you that we had that high volume modes there, right? I hit the up big by mistake. Here we are again. All right. So when I look over here, you see high volume right here. See how 45, these red, the red corresponds with the high volume node here. All right. So this allows me, I go back and I look at these things and I say, okay. Now remember this morning on my chart, if you saw the video, all right, I looked at this and I said, look at this. This is a really ugly low right here. See how it's not finished? You got two letters side by side. Okay. And then this is unfinished. This tail was too big. Okay. These are single prints to me. All right. So, I mean, I got an ultimate target here, 2036.5. Now, today, I don't know. I don't think that can happen. But anything's possible because there are so many longs in this market, these institutional longs, and when they start hitting the sell button, look out. Look out. Right? All right, we're at 50.25. Let me bring this back in here. Oh, here, this is really good. All right, look at her. Look at Bookmap. This guy's sitting here. He wants them. He got, looks like about 1,500 of them went off. All right. All right, remember, 1.5 times the IB range. That's our target.
Oh, it's 11 o'clock, huh?
All right.
Time to wrap it up.
Man, this hour flies by. Flies by. I hope you guys are learning something. our target right now is 47 even. We're at 49. I would look if you are short to lighten up there. Okay.
I think
All right.
Debbie wants to jump in.
All right, Debbie, go ahead.
She can hear you. See if you can pull up the.
Can,
right there.
can you hear me?
All right, stop sharing.
Turn the volume back up a little bit.
Can you guys hear me?
All right. I'm going to try this, Deb. I don't want to. All right, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
got it, Deb.
Excellent. Okay, well, we can wrap the show. I'm going to quickly read your disclaimer so we have it in the recording. Trading futures, options on futures, and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions involve substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or most of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The information presented today is an expression of our opinions and is provided for educational purposes only. And with that, we'll end the show. We'll have another live trading session at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time, Thursday, March 12th. And that is a wrap. Say goodbye, Lewis.
See you later, everybody. Look for 1.5 times the IB range.